Get aside from that door, Mr. Finch.
Walter, I think you ought to turn right around and go back home.
I can't see Atticus.
Well,
the actor that I had to kick in the leg, they made the mistake of telling me that he had been an ex-motorcycle cop and that one of his legs was bad and, you know, kick his good leg.
Hey, Atticus.
Wonderful creature that I was. Guess which leg I kicked?
Don't you touch him! Let him go! Let him go!
that'll do, Scout.
So she kicked the bad one?
She kicked the bad one.
I can tell you why she did that, because Mary was a brat.
I can't stand it any longer. I'm going downtown to the courthouse and walk. You better not. You know what Atticus said? I don't care if you did. I'm not going to miss the most exciting thing that ever happened in this town.
Jim also is the figure who is most deeply affected by the trial of Tom Robinson.
The most difficult sequence was the courtroom stuff, particularly when a movie like Mockingbird is dependent on performance.
Bob Mulligan, along with Greg Peck, set the ambiance for all of us in terms of the atmosphere in which we worked. It took us 2 to 3 weeks to shoot the courtroom scene.
When the picture began, Harper's father had passed away, and she gave me his watch. And I had noticed when I was in Monroeville that he carried it in an old-fashioned way. He put through a buttonhole in his vest and the watch in one and a watch fob in the other. And he had a way of playing with it and just holding that watch in his hand. And I stole that mannerism when I used it in the courtroom.
Hello, Violet, you.
In wardrobe at first, they suggested high heels, and I said no, she wouldn't have any high heels. And if I do have to wear high heels, if I've got to wear high heels, then you have to let me wear them with socks. Oh no, they said no one wears high heels with socks. Oh yes, they do, where I'm from. Then it was really important to me that my hair not be clean, because Mayella's hair wouldn't be that clean. There wouldn't be time for doing for yourself. She was taking care of a whole passel of kids. She was being the mother in more ways than one. I saw these girls on the streets of Highlands, these very underprivileged girls, these girls from awful, awful backgrounds. I mean, most of them took it for granted they'd be molested by the time they were certainly 12 by a father, an uncle, a brother, or someone down the road.
Is your father good to you? I mean, is he easy to get along with?
That's tolerable.
Except when he's drinking.
Imagine a child like that. She has been molested, sexually molested by her father, so she is sexually awakened. Whatever else has happened, with no avenue, nowhere to go with that. And here is a very attractive, very dignified, very kind, soft-spoken man. Black, maybe, but a man. And she's a young girl with hormones. And no, she could never admit it.
Didn't you ever ask him to come inside the fence before?
Mayella was feeling enormous amounts of guilt.
I might have.
Can you remember any other occasion?
No. Because here's this gentle man that never did anything bad to anybody. And I've been so nice to her, so kind to her. She knows she's lying. And she's trapped up here. And that's her only defense. It's one of the reasons I went into this one of the bizarre body language. She's a trapped animal. She's trapped in life. She's trapped by her conditioning. She's trapped by her own hatred and prejudice and the poverty in which she lives. And she'll never get out of it. I remember at one point on the stand looking at my father. And if there was any moment in which I might have, as the character, broken down and told the truth, it wouldn't happen because I looked at my daddy. Because you know what had happened to her when she got home, if she didn't perform well on the stand.
He took advantage of me. And if you fine, fancy gentlemen ain't gonna do nothing about it, then you're just a bunch of lousy, yellow,
stinking cowards! The whole bunch of you! And your fancy airs don't come to nothing! Your mammon and your Miss May Ellen, it don't come to nothing, Mr. Finch!
The man who played my father, James Anderson, scared me to pieces.
Jim had had a hard life. He had lived a lot of that kind of world. I remember looking right in my face. One of the first things he said after hello was, "I know that man."
And I seen him with my Mayella.
It was almost a malevolence that he carried around on his shoulder. I never got to know him. I stayed out of his way because I was really afraid that I wouldn't be able to take very much of the kind of attitude he projected without getting into some real difficulties.
I've been appointed to defend Tom Robinson. Now that he's been charged, that's what I intend to do.
You've taken his...
You'll excuse me, Mr. Ewell.
Jim was such a fine actor. He was so into the backwoods redneck.
What kind of man are you? You got children of your own.
He despised me, and I didn't think too much of him. He thought I was some kind of Hollywood leading man that couldn't cut the mustard and really create a character.
You've sworn to tell the whole truth. Will you do it?
Brock has a godlike quality, you know, that voice, that face. He had a nobility about him that was quite remarkable. It certainly reinforced who was good and who was evil. Put Brock Peters and James Anderson side by side, and it ain't very hard to know which is the good guy and which is the bad guy.
Solemn swear to tell the truth, whole truth, nothing but the truth, self God. I do. Sit down.
This was a gentle person, kind man. He was not guilty, and there shouldn't be any aspect of a guilty person that appears there.
What is so significant for the black viewer is that he's innocent. The fact that he's charged with something isn't a matter of great significance. We're just so delighted that he's not guilty, that it's so clear that he didn't do it. So he's a hero.
I was going home as usual that evening when I passed the Ewell place. Miss Mayella was on the porch, like she said she was.
Bob worked very carefully with me, and I remember being frightened that I might not be able to deliver what it was he was asking for in terms of the depth of emotion and the varieties of the colors that he wanted to come out of me. And I don't remember the day that it happened, or even the moment, but when I look back, I remember there was a time when finally I saw it. And I literally was able to always go back to that place. And it was like a key, and I could unlock it.
Mr. Finch, I got down off the chair, and I turned around. And she sort of jumped on me.
Brock gave me a problem. Because when Brock started to tell his story of what really happened, he started to cry. And tears ran right down his face. And I found that I couldn't look him in the eye because I started to choke up. So I resorted to looking past him. And that's the only way I could get through it, because you didn't want to have the witness and the lawyer both crying at the same time. That wouldn't do.
My life as an African American or a black American has had a lot of horror in terms of racism. You know, I've been kicked, beaten. I've seen the worst of it. I guess I've been fortunate in being able to step back from the brink of an anger that would engulf me and cause my life to go in a really downward